to HOA or not to HOA? That is the question I'm gonna attempt to answer for you today in this video. With over 75.5 million Americans living in an HOA, according to Foundation for Community Association research, it's a big question. And I'm gonna attempt to cover the pros and the cons so that you can make an informed decision when it comes to your home buying purchase. Hi, I'm Stephanie Zambo here in Northern Colorado. I'm here to be your guide to all things Northern Colorado. So whether you're packing that moving truck or just doing a bit of research, please feel free to text, call, or email me anytime. And if you're first time to the channel, hit subscribe to get updates on my latest videos covering Northern Colorado. To HOA, with a recent study that came out from Rocket Mortgage, saying that over 57% of people who live in HOAs do not like them, it comes to beg the question of, should you purchase a home in an HOA or should you not? Now, based on that negative feedback from Rocket Mortgage, also, according to a 2022 Homeowners Satisfaction Survey, 89% of homeowners stated that if they lived in an HOA, they felt that it helped protect and enhance their property values. With that being said, let's jump into some of the positives about an HOA. So with your HOA dues, usually comes a set of covenants and rules that all of the neighbors need to abide by. And usually that requires some level of home maintenance. Some HOAs may be stricter than others. A lot of times they're going to require an architectural review in order to change your landscaping significantly or paint your home. So with some HOAs, you may be highly restricted, whereas others may have room for more fluidity. Are they going to let you paint your house pink? Probably not. Another benefit of HOAs is they usually maintain the community parks, open grassy areas, sometimes a pool, playground, and other amenities. So depending on the HOA and the dues, they are going to be what controls your access and maintenance of those amenities. Some HOAs offer enhanced security, such as putting in gates to the community, or offering security patrols or surveillance systems, or an opportunity for people to submit complaints outside of police complaints. Often they offer some kind of conflict resolution agreements within the HOA documents. So if there's disagreements amongst neighbors or disagreements about what is happening within a home, they offer a medium for conflict resolution outside of just neighbors trying to solve it on their own. Often HOAs can offer opportunities for community gatherings, whether that's providing the budget for set communities or just establishing an open line of communication, helping the board establish different events, and allowing neighbors to get involved for what they like to see happen within their communities. So with enhanced community aesthetics, community events, potential for enhanced security, and amenities, you can see why many HOA are contributed to higher sales prices. Ultimately, you don't want to be driving through a neighborhood and see broken down cars in the driveway, and you don't want to see a yard full of weeds up past the front door. So these are all things that an HOA will have rules and regulations against and also enforce. An HOA also has the ability to put a lien on a property, which can prevent a home from being sold or can cause those liens to have to be paid off in advance of the home selling. So with that being said, it is very important to, one, pay your HOA dues, and two, avoid any fees and fines where possible. So whereas that can be a benefit, it can also be seen as a negative. Next up, let's jump into the potential negatives of an HOA. One of them is monthly, quarterly, or annual fees. HOAs usually will have one of those, or sometimes a combination of both if there's a master HOA association and then a sub-association. And with those fees comes a higher cost of living. And sometimes when you are utilizing a mortgage to purchase the property, it will increase the difficulty of qualifying for a loan. There can also be potential for disagreements with the HOA. So where the HOA may provide a platform for disagreements amongst neighbors, what happens when you are disagreeing with the HOA themselves? What happens then? And that's very much going to depend on the HOA, the board who is running the HOA, and the conflict resolution styles that they offer, both within the written documents and based on just what you have heard about the HOA. Fines and penalties that can be brought on by the HOA. And sometimes, if you've let your yard completely get out of control, perhaps it's warranted, but maybe you've got an incredibly controlling HOA, you've let a few weeds grow, and now all of a sudden you're being fined, and you were just out of town and your yard guy didn't come by, or you just didn't get a chance to weed before you left. Those are some things to consider when you are looking at the documents, that you could get fines and penalties for not following the HOA rules. Some homeowners feel that there's a lack of privacy with an HOA because there may be designated personnel that are specifically trying to look for violations. So is there board members that specifically will cite different homes or drive around the community looking for homeowners to cite? So that can lead to a feeling of lack of privacy, even if it is allowing for enhanced security like a gated community. And lastly, the idea of restrictions on property use. When you own your home, you want to have the opportunity to use it as you see fit. However, some HOAs may restrict you from putting up a fence, keeping certain pets. Perhaps they don't even allow dogs. I've seen HOAs and condos that don't allow dogs. So there is the potential for restrictive use, and depending on the HOA, it could be very little or very heavy restrictions. So those are just a couple of the potential negatives of HOAs. Ultimately, as a homeowner, it's up for you to decide whether you would be happy with an HOA or not. As an agent, I do see the value in an HOA, especially with showing hundreds and hundreds of properties a year. Often in HOA-run communities, the homes are more well kept along with the neighborhood, and that typically leads to higher property values. However, I do understand not wanting the additional costs and not wanting to be restricted on what you can do with your property, including landscaping. So pay attention to what's going on in the community, how the neighborhood looks, and just be aware that if you are purchasing a home within an HOA, you'll want to review those documents closely. Not only the budget that they have set in place to make sure that there's enough money to go around for whatever projects the HOA may be taking on, but also in the rules and covenants to ensure that it's going to meet your lifestyle. Luckily, in the Colorado contract to buy and sell, there are specific deadlines to receive a multitude of different association documents. So you can be sure that you're comfortable with the HOA, its covenants, its budget, and its different documents before you sign on the dotted line and buy the home. So to HOA or not to HOA, that's up for you to decide. I'm always available to answer questions based on different communities throughout Northern Colorado. So whether you have that moving truck packed or you're just doing a bit of research, consider me your guide. My name's Stephanie Zambo. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit subscribe, call, text, or email anytime.